Thank you for having us today. My name is Katherine Yuko Fry, and I'm a STEM Super Youth Advocate.
Thank you. My name is Jesus Rodriguez, and I'm a STEM Super Youth Advocate. You'll hear more about us later in our program, but for now, we are thrilled to have the opportunity to speak with Governor Jay Inslee.
Career-connected learning is a collection of experiences like internships, apprenticeships, and real-world, on-the-job learning that connects students with the career opportunities in their area. What are you planning to do this session to support career-connected learning?
Everything that we can possibly do. We are so excited about this opportunity. You know, I've got the best job in the world. I get to work in the most innovative, creative, entrepreneurial state in the nation. And our goal is to making sure every single student and child has a connection to their future that they can identify and find a way to get it with multiple channels. Our goal is to create new channels of success for our students. 4-year programs, 2-year programs, technical colleges, apprenticeships in advanced manufacturing, apprenticeships in healthcare, apprenticeships in financial services. We believe that that can do wonderful things for our young people, with the 30% of kids who may not need a 4- or 2-year degree, but have a great career ahead of them. And the industries they can be involved in are so exciting. Here's one. I just want to mention this because I'm excited about it. Yesterday, after a journey of 33 million miles, our spacecraft, the Insight, successfully landed on Mars, powered by rockets designed and manufactured in Redmond, Washington with the Aerojet Company. That's something to celebrate, and it is our goal. It is our goal that every student, if they want to be in that industry, has multiple channels of being able to get that experience and training that they need. And we know we're possible at doing that because, frankly, there is a template in Switzerland where 70% of their students are in an apprenticeship when they're 16, 17, 8 years of age. And as a result, they have almost no youth unemployment. And as a result, you've got these burgeoning advanced tech companies in Switzerland who have that talent. Look, the most important work that the state of Washington does is to provide intellectual capability for our industries. It is the most successful thing we do, and it's the most gratifying work we do. It was mentioned my dad was a biology teacher, and I get the privilege of going around the state and meeting 73-year-old people who ask if my dad was Frank Inslee. And they tell me stories about him giving them a moment of inspiration where they had an ambition for their career that they could succeed at. And as a counselor at South High School, he had hundreds of kids, that he connected to a vision statement for their career. We need to continue to give that success. And when you see the eyes light up of those students, like we had those 12 students in the first advanced manufacturing program down in Tacoma, and their parents, it was like they got drafted in the NBA. That's how excited people are. So we want to make sure that we provide those channels. And the state of Washington is ready, willing, and able to partner with everybody in this room to make sure we continue to lead the country, which we are doing. We lead the country in so many ways. I think it's pretty cool that we are able to say today, Washington State is leading the United States of America in career-connected learning. That's what we're going to do this January. So come see us.
Okay. Why are the efforts of people in this room going to be important to support career-connected learning?
The simple answer is that the people in this room are the reason it's going to succeed. And if you are not engaged, it is not going to succeed. One of the principal lessons we learned in our trip to Switzerland is that the true leaders of this effort, frankly, are not governors. They're not presidents. They're CEOs, they're HR directors, they're educators, they're salespeople who want to develop an apprenticeship program in their business to develop homegrown talent. This is a private enterprise-driven and essentially directed effort. Our job in government is to provide services to you so that you can help once you decide, for instance, what a certificate of a completion of ceramics advanced manufacturing. Once you help define what that basket of talents and experiences are, We come in and provide the certification services to you. So we're a service provider to you so that you can direct your ambitions and your vision statement for your industry and your kids to make this happen. So my goal, my most important job is to recruit talent in private enterprise and business leaders, because with business leadership in this realm of career-connected learning, everything is possible, and without it, it's going to go nowhere. So I want to ask you to become personally involved in this. I want to ask you to dedicate a little bit of your professional time to this effort. I want to ask you, when you go back to your communities, that you talk about what you learned here and did here and inspire other people to be involved. And I just want to reiterate one of the comments that was made earlier. In Switzerland, people understand that their investment in a student is going to pay off even if that student doesn't come back to work for them. They understand because their competitors are going to be developing intellectual talent who may come back to work for them. We need to develop that same degree of recognition of return on investment in the business community in the state of Washington. When we have that, every student's going to have an opportunity for career-connected learning. So I hope you'll go back to Washington Fruit and you'll talk to the class and you'll tell them that the governor says you're a star and they ought to do whatever you ask them to do. So I hope you succeed.
Our next question is, what advice do you have for students and recent graduates like us?
Be careful of going into politics. In a sense, that's a true story. I guess my advice would be, that's a serious question, I'll give you a serious answer. I think my advice to young people would be, first, explore. You know, youth is for exploration. Old age is for paying mortgages. So go out and explore something that you never thought of before. I really believe that, and it may lead you somewhere that you never anticipated. I'll just share a story about, I was at the UW and, you know, was kind of a lost soul and didn't know what I was really getting into, and I saw a little placard on the board about a research project studying energy use of Seattle, Washington, comparing it to Stockholm, Sweden. And for some reason, that kind of caught my attention. So I signed up for it. We did a little research project looking at the energy usage policies of Seattle and then comparing it to Stockholm, Sweden. We went and lived there for 4 months, and we went to the first UN conference on the environment. And that kind of piqued an interest that I never had before about energy policy. Well, here I am, end up governor of the state of Washington, leading the development of clean energy economy that's leading the country, really, in the development of a clean energy economy. And that happened just because of accident that I stumbled into that program. So I would say exploration is important. And the second thing is, you know, find your passion, man. Just whatever that passion is. It's making violins or it's being HR director for Kaiser Permanente. Find a passion. Follow that passion. You'll never go wrong. How's that? That's free advice. I should get paid for this, but anyway.
Do you have any questions for us?
So what do you think would be the most successful way that I can recruit people to this mission? What do you think, in your experience, what would be the most successful, like if you think about the fruit industry, what would be the best way for us to get more leaders in the fruit industry to engage in this, do you think?
Okay. To get more leaders involved in this this mission, this whole career-connected learning and advancing and moving it forward, I would say that to really bring them all kind of like to an event like this, to bring them all together, share ideas, exchange ideas, and really talk about the important issues that we're facing and the problems and how we could solve them.
I think a way that you can get more young people, or really any leaders in the industries, to get really passionate about career-connected learning is sort of looking at like the concept of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, are their basic needs being met, and do they have the time and effort to basically pursue something extra to their industry? And It's less so like incentive, but really convincing them, hey, this is very important for the future. If you have kids, you might want to pursue this. So really just putting it into perspective of how it impacts their own life.
I'm for it. All right. So how are we doing?
Sorry, notes. What should we do next to support career-connected learning?
Well, I've kind of answered that, which is to say, I hope everybody here leaves this room thinking about how to be a leader and how to lead in your own communities. And I think that sometimes actually that I think we kind of forget how powerful we are in our own communities. And I think it's really important to realize you don't have to be governor or president or senator or anything to be a leader. Everybody in this room is a leader. And if you embrace a leadership view of your role, you can work wonders in your industry, in your institutions, in your company, in your families. And I just ask you to be creative in your exploration of your leadership role. And when it builds, take pride in that. So 5 years from now, when we've got 3 to 4 times more students in apprenticeship programs, and you'll meet bright lights like Jesus and Katherine who are now developing up through the industry, this is going to make you feel really good. And so I just hope you find a way to embrace that possibility. And if I could buy stock in you two guys, I would. Just
Well, that brings us to that was the last question. Thank you so much, Governor Inslee, for joining us today.
Before I go, could I have a round of applause for these two, but especially Jesus, because we had a wonderful thing happen in Washington. This never happened before last Friday night. The Washington State Cougar Band played Bow Down to Huskies. This is a great moment in the state of Washington. How about a round of applause for the Cougars and Katherine? Big
fan of what you're doing.
Thanks,
It's a pleasure
Katherine.
meeting you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Now, Katherine and I will share our stories. Agriculture has always been a part of my life. I've been involved in it since I was 8 years old, when I would harvest tree fruit alongside my father every summer until I graduated in the orchards that surround the Lake Chelan Valley. From that constant exposure and experience, I developed a passion not only for the tree fruit industry, but for the entire agriculture industry as well. As a result, I decided to pursue an agriculture-related post-secondary education at Wenatchee Valley College and then at Washington State University. Go Cougs. This past May, I graduated with a bachelor's in integrated plant sciences and with the milestone of being the first of my family to attend and graduate from a university. Thank you. Presently, I'm a horticulturalist at Washington Fruit and Produce, where I'm primarily involved in apple production. I am a STEM super youth advocate for Washington STEM because I saw it as an opportunity to communicate the exciting STEM-related careers and opportunities in the agricultural industry with high school and college students. My hope is that they possibly visualize themselves applying their passions to make a difference in this industry. Because of the immense challenges that overshadow the industry, such as climate change and food security, which, left unsolved, will directly affect our daily lives. In closing, the STEM efforts being directed towards low-income and minority students in Washington, such as the ones that we are all here to learn more about, are truly making an impact. I know this because I've experienced it firsthand. Not only does it help us attain equal opportunity, but it helps us attain or realize our ambitions and dreams that otherwise would be very difficult to realize. In all, a STEM education provides a skill set that transcends beyond the classroom and makes it so we can succeed in this world. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Good afternoon. My name is Katherine Yuko Fry, and I'm a sophomore at Western Washington University, pursuing a degree in environmental science. Do I have any Vikings out there? Woo! I'm thrilled to be speaking to you today. There is a quote by James Baldwin which states, "The paradox of education is precisely this, that as one begins to become conscious, one begins to examine the society in which he is being educated." And as I speak today, I invite you to reflect on the notion of consciousness in our society as we strive to create accessibility to STEM. As a minority in science, I have to face the sad reality that at times I feel I've become more a token number than an individual, a mere blip in the statistics that argue that diversity is growing and thriving. When we look at the future generation of STEM, we can see that diversity is indeed growing. But to you, the educators and leaders in this room, I pose to you a question. The students you advocate for, are they thriving or just surviving? So often I am told the most important thing is to just get in. Get your foot into the door of college, jobs, and communities. What I did not know was what would often be waiting for me on the other side, and the struggle against society that would continue even after I supposedly made it. And it is because of these experiences that I'm here before you today as an advocate for Washington STEM. Not only has Washington STEM allowed me to use my experiences with career-connected learning to advocate for others, but it's provided me with a platform to bring awareness to the dire need for equity in education that will allow for students to enter STEM as their truest, most genuine selves, yet with the consciousness to question the status quo as they emerge into the unknown. I would like to end by thanking all the educators and advocates here today who plant the seed of inspiration for their students, but continue to water and nurture them as they endure the storms that may lie ahead. Thank you.